Every MySQL database needs to run on some kind of a server, maybe a desktop, but for the most part a server. And of course, every server needs an operating system. So understanding your operating system security is of key importance, because if the OS itself is not secure, then neither are the databases. So we have, of course, the main operating systems that are out there: Apple, Microsoft, Linux, iOS, or of course a derivative of Apple. But it really doesn't matter whatever operating system you are running on. You need to make sure that it is secure. So some of the fundamental steps to ensure the OS is secure is to keep the operating system up to date. Now, if you're running Windows, very likely that you're familiar with Windows updates. There's a site that you can go, of course, to get the updates. And if you're in a corporate environment, maybe you're using something like Windows Server Update Services, which is essentially the same thing, but it just supplies updates in a different fashion. One way or the other, you'll receive your updates, and they're almost always related to security. A very high percentage of the updates are security fixes for this or that or the other thing. So you definitely want to keep on top of that, because they represent some kind of possibility for the system to be circumvented. So you need to make sure that you apply those as regularly as they come out. Obviously, installing and keeping current with an antivirus and anti-malware program is absolutely critical. If your servers become corrupted with viruses, they are clearly not going to be of any use to anyone. So you definitely need to make sure that you've got a good quality antivirus program, and that it is also kept current. The updates come down usually at least weekly, if not in some cases daily, for the antivirus. So you definitely want to make sure that you keep on top of that as well. And a firewall is always necessary to secure and monitor all of the network traffic, both from the internet and even internally. You can have multiple firewalls, one that protects your entire network, maybe at a hardware or appliance level, and then you can have host-based firewalls on the servers or even desktops themselves. And each one represents another layer of security. So you definitely want to make sure that you're securing your network traffic along with the operating system as well. And then, with respect to security from the perspective of users, you want to make sure that only the accounts that are necessary are the ones that are logging into the databases, and that they, of course, have only the necessary permissions. This is an approach known as the principle of least privilege. In other words, if you don't need access to it, you should not have access to it. And if you do, you should only have access to that which you need. Don't give everybody full access to everything, basically, is the approach for this. Then, of course, you always need to make sure that you implement all of your file system security methods. So the permissions to any given folders, files, whatever, needs to be implemented to make sure that, again, only the appropriate people have permission to gain access to those objects. Now, each operating system will implement that in a bit of a different fashion, but these are usually standard things that you need to ensure that are in place so that our operating system itself is secure. Then we can tighten things up with MySQL security, but your operating system, of course, represents a more foundational level of security, so that's always required.